Welcome back, everybody, to Zeus Gaming UK. It's great to see you, and I really appreciate if you are staying tuned and following these episodes through. It means an awful world to me. Today, what we're going to discuss is how to add music to your stream. We're going to talk about the customizability and what you can do using both StreamElements and StreamLabs. And we're going to look at copyright as well, and how important it can be not to play any old music on your channel. I'm going to refer to a streamer I use quite a lot and I've learned a great deal from in my journey. And I'm going to play you a clip from him, actually, just so you kind of get where I'm coming from. And actually, he explains it probably much better than what I ever could. Now, in my last episode, I did suggest that we would be looking at webcams today. However, because of the length of the content and the detail, I really don't want to try to cram too much into one episode. But what I promise you is that it's already been recorded and webcams and some other hardware will be featured in the next episode with me. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy what we're about to go through, and let's get started. So as I mentioned, let's take a look at how we add those custom alerts and bits and pieces into our stream if you want to add something different that I haven't gone through so far, or something that your overlay hasn't provided you with. The two sites that I suggest you look at for this are StreamElements, as we've already used it, and StreamLabs as well. So let's start with StreamElements. So here are the existing packages we've already downloaded, but we want to do something custom here. So I want you to click Create Blank Overlay in the kind of top right corner. Make sure you select 1080p and get started. By hitting the little plus in the bottom left hand corner and then going over to Labels, there are a number of different bits and pieces that we can create custom. So let's use followers as an example. By scrolling across, it is going to give you the variations of things that you can use, and I would probably suggest that it's always beneficial to have your latest follower up to thank them for coming through to your channel. Now, in this instance, because the Zeus Gaming World channel is actually live, we haven't had any followers. But what I can talk you through is the principle. So over here in the top left hand corner, we've got the text that's going to display itself all the time, and then we have the coding which will demonstrate a name when someone follows. You can change this to whatever you want. So maybe you want to say it's going to be our latest fan, you want to be like latest Zeus member. You can change that to anything you want. Like I said before about keeping things on brand and keeping personable, you can get as creative here as you wish. You do also have the ability to customize text if you don't want to use the default, and you can play around with that using the custom fonts, sizes, so on and so forth that are available here to make sure you find something that's really suitable for you. Once you've settled on what you've got, you hit save. You need to name that something, so we're going to call that latest follower. You're going to click save, and that's done. As before in the previous example, you're going to click copy overlay URL. You're going to come back to LightStream. You're going to add in a third-party integration. If it was from StreamElements, we're going to click StreamElements. We're then going to Control V in this box and hit Enter, and that is going to produce us with the information that we needed. You can resize this, play about wherever's needed, and then reposition that into place so that populates when somebody comes through and follows you. Please make sure you leave enough room here on the right. If you have it like this, as an example, when the coding populates the name of who's followed you, it's just going to cut it off. So let's make sure that we leave ourselves more than enough room so we don't cut out anyone that's trying to help us out here by giving us a follow. So that's a quick whiz through StreamElements. You do have a variety of things that you can do by hitting that little plus that was in the bottom left hand corner even, sorry, and you can create a whole bunch of custom commands. What is really worth noting at this stage is that you can obviously follow the steps that we have just done repeatedly to add as many variations and different bits of pieces of these labels that you've seen all into stream. And the reason why I'm not doing it for all of them is because it's exactly the same process that you've just watched me do. But one of the things I would suggest is every time that you create one of these, to test that it's working okay, make sure you have your LightStream open. Now this might look a little bit different because I've clipped this afterwards in post editing. Anyway, so come through here, come into emulate, and depending on what you've done, so let's say for example we've done a follow event, just hit that. Now you'll see that this system is creating a fake follower for you to show you what would happen. And you can click that a few times just to check that it's working. What should also happen though is over at LightStream that should populate. Now this will make a bit more sense in about 5 minutes time. However, let's say that we have added extra things to our LightStream since we put that initial command in. On the left hand side of this page is like a stack. Okay, and whatever's at the bottom will physically be at the bottom if you're adding layers. So what you need to do is ensure that you have the right things at the top. So as an example here, I believe that this StreamElements link is our original custom follower alert that we created. So I'm just going to click and drag that to the top, and it's just appeared. Here we go. There it is. Latest Zeus member, Johnson. So if we go back here, that's the same thing. So click it again. It's now Selka or Kelka. We go back and there it is. It's updated. Now let's pop over to StreamLabs. So you may want to find that you want to use a combination of StreamLabs and StreamElements for doing what you need to do. Once you've gone on to StreamLabs for the very first time, you'll need to sign in and associate it with your Mixer account, making sure you hit approve to give it full permission. The reason why it needs these permissions is it's taking information for you from your Mixer to establish and make these commands and notifications to then give them back to you through Mixer so they are relevant and make sense. Now, one of the things that's really good with StreamLabs is they do quite a lot of their own self-help videos on here. So I'm not going to go through too much because they actually do a brilliant job of it themselves. What you need to do is when you do come on here for the first time is make sure you go over and select all widgets, and that will bring you to the page that I'm at now. Some of the most common ones that people would like to put onto their stream are the chat boxes, as an example, the alert box, and even an event listing. Some people quite like the view account, and that gives a live representation on your stream of how many people are currently watching. So let's have a little look at that one as well. When it comes to chat box, as I mentioned, StreamLabs do a brilliant job of introducing you and telling you how this is going to work. There's a lot of defaults here about how it's going to work, and you've got lots of moderation and things you can do with playing around with colors and sizing and everything else in between to get this to where you need to get to. As always, like with the StreamElements, it's important that any changes you do make that you hit save settings when you finish. When you have got that and you've got this exactly how you want it, you just need to copy that URL, which is here hidden, come over to LightStream, come back to third-party integration. Remember that this time we're actually using StreamLabs and we're not using StreamElements. Again, Control-V and enter, and that will populate for us our chat box. You can see here that our chat box is loaded. Now, you're not going to see anything here at the moment because no one's typed in our chat room, so it's not actually going to work. If we, let's head back over to Mixer for a second. It should sign us in automatically. Let's head on to our channel. Loading up. Let's scroll down here to where the chat box will be, and let's just type a couple of these in. Now heading back to LightStream, I'm hopeful. Here we go. So this is how it's going to populate. So it's going to come up with the user's name. It's going to go from the bottom to the top, giving you who said what and what they've said. So there's our chat box. So that's that one done. So when we load onto the alert box, it should come up with the alert box v2, which is in the beta edition. My recommendation here would be heading back to the standard alert box v1, because I just think that it's a little bit more customizable and easy to navigate. So what this is going to give you the ability to do is change a variety of different bits and pieces depending on what commands it is you want to action. I would always recommend using this on the far left as your layout, which is going to give you an image on the top and text underneath. You can change that if you wish, where you have an image behind and text over top, or maybe even image to the side and text to the right. Whichever one you choose to use, just make sure you select that and hit save settings so that that's been saved. Followers are probably the people that we want to reward the most, I recognise, for coming in our channel, because these are the people that keep us doing what we're doing. So let's use this as a test example. We have here a variety of fade-ins and options and bits and pieces that we can select about how we want our alert to come to the channel. So let's use a bit of light speed in and light speed out for this effect. We then have some information here, and again, a bit like StreamLabs that we used before, here is the coding that's going to populate a unique or individual name depending on who has made this work. Again, you have the ability to change this wording if it's not something you like, to be as tongue-in-cheek or whatever you want to say. So that will come up as so-and-so has made a brilliant choice, would have decided to follow us. You can then decide how you want that text to appear and play around with it. And then you have a load of GIFs and other bits and pieces by hitting change media that you can go through and either use the default, upload your own, or go on to what they have available. You've got lots of images, sounds and things that they provide free of charge. So you can use these. I mean, I've always been a Pokemon lover. Let's give that a go. You can choose these and use these, or you can go on to like one of the GIF websites, download and use your own. So it's a little bit more unique, whatever suits you. When I spoke about a bit more customizable, customability here, you do have the options here to go in and change your font size, color, and various other bits and pieces. So this is why I prefer to use the older format, in my personal opinion. Make sure you hit save at the end then, and once we've got it to a point where we think we're happy with it, what we can do is head over to test follow. What we're then going to need to do is make sure that we copy this URL. So let's do the same again. Let's copy that. Let's head back over to LightStream. Let's insert a new third-party integration. Remember, we are now using StreamLabs. Same process again. Control V, enter is going to put my alert box added in there. Now what I'm going to do is go back to this website, hit the test follow, quickly scoot back over, and there we go. That's what's going to come up on my stream when someone decides to follow me. And I can make that as small, as big, do whatever with it I see fit or need to do. So there we have personal followers that's come through. We have our chat box that'll be over here and our alert box. And we can customize that and use that for all these different things. And we can actually have different effects, different words. We can have them not working at all. We can turn them off. You know, if you don't want to be notified or to show off when someone follows, you can hit disable. So you don't have to use all of these. You will go through and select the ones you want. My recommendation is follows, donations, hosts, stickers are the ones in particular that I would definitely make sure you've got up and running. And what they are is obviously when someone follows you, if someone decides to donate physical money to your channel, which is amazing. So this needs to be a very thankful thing. Hosting is probably one of the best ways that helps you grow, and that's when people decide to show your channel on theirs. And stickers are when people decide to send you embers and sparks. I mean, of course, we want to support and recognise those people because they're supporting us by showing us that love. Okay, so then the next one that we spoke about was actually event list. This has a really good video to explain it that they've already put together. So rather than me going over it, I'm going to let StreamLabs explain that one. So I would suggest us watching this and it'll explain it really easy. You can actually see here in the background that they've actually got one that's already set up that you can copy and use straight away without making any customizability. But it will talk you through what you need to do if you want to change some of that up. Last of all, let's look at viewer count. This is something I see in a lot of channels and people like using. I don't personally use it on mine because I like to make things as clean as possible. But if you want to, that's absolutely fine. It's actually already pre-made and ready to go. So all you need to do is hit copy, head back over to your LightStream, same exactly again, third-party integrations, StreamLabs, click here, Control V, enter, and we've got a amazing no viewers that are currently watching our channel. Okay, so two more subjects that I want to cover with you. First one is about adding music to your stream, whether that be on your starting scene screen, your be right back, your ending, or maybe even whilst you're live streaming, you want to have some music in the background. There are some important things you need to know about adding music. One of the bits in particular around copyright, which can be a little bit problematic. Now, there is a streamer that I watch, and I've watched and used him since I very much started doing all of this. Someone called Alpha Gaming, Harris Heller. Now, rather than trying to reinvent and tell you what he said, let me just take you across to Harris and let's see if he can explain it for you. Yo, Harris, can you explain it for them for me?
We got a lawyer in this video. That's how you know it's a real one. Did you know that I got a DMCA strike on my YouTube channel like years ago? Yeah, Warner Brothers shut us down. It was not a good time. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Yeah, this has been an issue for a long time, and record labels haven't stopped doing this either. A little bit ago, Atlantic Records issued full-blown DMCA takedowns on 2 streamers. One of them happened because a stream sniper ran up to the streamer and played like 2 seconds of a song in proximity chat. I'd show you the clip, but I don't want to get a DMCA takedown. And by the way, that's not even the funniest part. The funniest part is the song was a song called Mine by the artist Bozzy. And if you don't know who Bozzy is, Bozzy started his career on Vine singing other people's songs. And by the way, I know that Bozzy had nothing to do with the copyright strike. It was entirely Atlantic Records. However, the irony is just incredible. Anyway, these kinds of things happen. They're very real. And the reason it concerns me is a little bit ago, a couple days ago, I just released 6 hours of copyright-free music for streamers to play so they wouldn't have to worry about this. And as copyright lately has been a large conversation in my Twitter mentions, I'm seeing a good chunk of people who say there's really nothing to worry about playing copyrighted music. All they're gonna do is remove your VODs and move on. Which, by the way, if you didn't get this from the story earlier, very not true. And look, this video is not gonna be some like serious fear-mongering video that makes you afraid to play music on your stream. However, it is important that you are aware that that streamer I mentioned earlier learned that copyright strike happened on a year-old clip on her account, and she now has 2 strikes. If she gets a 3rd one, if any song she's ever played on her account before gets stricken by the record label, her account is shut down. She's a full-time streamer, she loses her job. You, as a streamer, should at least be aware of how the law works and what you're allowed to do.
So there we go. So Harris has very, very kindly created a whole bunch of music that is going to be non-copyrighted, that is going to be usable with no worries at all about any repercussions. And that's what I use on my streams. And you know what? I think I would use it on yours as well if you are going to use something. So let's head over to another app that I want to take you to now, which is called Baptismo. Okay, so here we are over at Baptismo. Like every website we've used so far, guys, you're going to need to do the same process. So when you first go onto Baptismo, which I will link in the description below, you are going to need to sign in. It is going to ask you to link it to your Mixer account and just follow those steps through until you get onto a page that looks somewhat like this. When you're on here, just make sure you scroll down on the left-hand side and hit music, and we're pretty much ready to go. What you are going to need to do is obviously input some of your own music and things you use. What I would recommend is coming across to Streambeats, like I mentioned, that's from Harris Heller or Alpha Gaming, and you are able to use this completely and utterly free of charge. So if I open this in a new window, it's going to bring this up. You may have some adverts and bits and pieces, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. What you can do if you want to be extra safe is wait until this is finished and the music started. Control C the URL from here. We can exit out of that. We can go back into Baptismo. We can add to queue. We can put that YouTube video in. We can hit save, and that is going to give us all of that music that has been created that is completely copyright free, ready to go and play through. Absolutely amazing. You're then going to click on View Overlay. The reason why we're doing this is mainly because I just, again, want this URL. I'm not too concerned about anything else, but I would at this stage probably just whack play, and we can kind of surmise that it just kind of ticks a box. So it kind of makes sure that it's actually up and running rather than just leaving it to, you know, the hand of the fates and gods and whatever else in between. So we've got the URL for that. So let's exit out of that. We certainly don't need YouTube open any longer, so that can go as well. This is all running and looking handsome as anything. So we are going to come back to our stream. This is just an example scene I'm using and whacking everything straight onto here. Whack that little plus in that top right hand corner. Back to our best friend of third-party integrations. Baptismo is at the top. In the URL, Control V, whack that in, and there she is. Now, one of the things that I would recommend that you do in this scenario is this doesn't obviously look very pretty whatsoever. So coming onto the actual image itself, hitting on here, going to transparency and making that completely invisible is probably one of the best things that you can do. Now, it should now, when you click on and off and back onto that stream, it should start just playing automatically. If you've got this live and you're streaming and for whatever reason this isn't playing, just have Baptismo open, come over here and whack that. That will then make sure that it starts playing in your stream. Most of the time it will work. However, I have noticed some issues with some of the coding that doesn't kick in straight away. So this is a really quick way around of how you can make that play. And that will be live on your stream straight away. LightStream doesn't support MP4 directly, as it's majority around a third-party integration site. So let's have a little look about how we'd get that up and running. First thing I'm going to need to do is come out of this to my desktop, where I've got my NerdOrDie file that I've already opened. If you are purchasing from NerdOrDie, make sure you complete the transaction. They'll tend to email you all of your files, which you'll download, and they'll come through in zip format. To unzip them, you just right click and then make sure you hit extract all. In this instance, I've opened the one that we're going to need for this demonstration, which is the borderline overlay. I would really highly recommend that if you are going to be purchasing through NerdOrDie, that you look at this supercharged package. And one of the reasons why I recommend this is because it makes things so much easier. Let me show you exactly what I mean here. So with the supercharged package, it already comes with a whole bunch of files that are already ready to be pre-installed from the get-go. So we don't need to worry about individually coding each one. However, once I've got through this bit about showing you the easiest way to do it, I will show you a separate website that if you don't have the ability or the funds maybe to get a supercharged package, which is indicated in the top right-hand corner in NerdOrDie by a lightning bolt and the word supercharged, that you can still find a way to use and integrate the things you want to. So we've spoken about the integration of StreamElements already today, so we're going to go ahead and continue to use this for this example. I'm going to want to upload my mixer overlays to start with, so I'm just going to double click that and then hit open. It recognizes that I need to use StreamElements and it decides to open the website for me straight away. I click on Mixer because that's the platform that we're using, and as per usual, if you haven't already, it's going to ask you to approve that you actually want to do this. Don't need to read through this, because what's just happened for me, which is completely awesome, is in conjunction with NerdOrDie and StreamElements, everything has been coded and built for me from the get-go. So it's all up and running already. Can't get much easier than that. And here we go. I've got a fully automated running stream. That's absolutely beautiful. All I need to do is Control C on this URL. I would then go across to our LightStream. I would then go to third-party integrations. I'd then go to StreamElements. As before, standard process of Control V and then hitting down on our enter. And lo and behold, there is our animated MP4 showing the content that we wanted it to running through. Now, you'll probably notice that some of these bits and pieces need to be updated and maybe not correct for you. That's a really simple and quick thing to process. We just go into edit like we would have done on the other overlays we saw before, and you can go through selecting the relevant bits on the side here, deleting the information that you don't need and inputting the correct information so that it's all up and running. You do also have the ability here to go into your schedule, and here you can make sure that under each of the times and things it is the correct time that's going to be appropriate to you. Just make sure that when you are editing any of this, we are changing these that have the small t's, large T and small t, because those are our text files. If you delete any of these other things, these are the icons, and they're a bit of a pain to get in place. I certainly wouldn't play around too much initially anyway with deleting those or trying to amend or change. So once again, it is just these on the side that we need to use. If you're unsure about what you're going to be editing, or you're not too sure if you're on the right thing, there's a little eye symbol here, which is the toggle for visibility. You just flick that on and off and look at your stream, you will see that it actually goes much darker, and then you know that you are working through or looking at the right thing. As always, once you've made any changes that you need to, please hit save. This makes sure everything's logged and that transitions straight through to LightStream for you straight away. Okay, so next, if you have decided to purchase one of the other overlays that isn't supercharged, maybe because you prefer the design or a variety of other reasons, you can still get MP4 files to work on LightStream with a few simple steps. Once again, you're going to need to use a third-party integration website. This one is called player.me. It's going to follow very similar steps to what you have done personally and previously before, and that is where you go onto the website, you log in, you tell it what streaming service you're using, you approve, and that's going to come through here. You can see here that I've already set one up for demonstration purposes. And when you've got that set up and named it what you want, by clicking Add Overlay, you get through to this stage here. You will be asked whether it is a starting, a mid-game, ending, or custom. Please make sure you hit Custom because we need to make personal edits to this. Once you've done that, come over here, hit Edit, and that will bring you across to this tab here. At this stage, what we're going to do is come over to Add Widget. We're going to go Custom Video. We're going to go Select, and then we're going to select the video that we decide we want to use. In this instance, rather than using one of the overlays, I'm just going to use another MP4 file, which is one of my animations that I have for my starting videos. This will work with any MP4 file, so you really don't need to worry. And when you do have an animated overlay from the likes of NerdOrDie, they come in MP4 format. So what you're going to do is position that, get that smack bang on to where you want it to be, ensure it's all lined up and you're happy. And as per usual, we're always going to hit save at the end to make sure we are happy with what we've got. Once we've done that, we're going to hit the word launch and we are going to go copy overlay URL. You're going to guess exactly what happens next because we've done this a few times now. You're going to come across here, hit player.me, come into here, Control V, enter, and that is going to give me my video instantaneously. Guys, that has been a pretty intense and quick, with a lot of talking video on how to do so much stuff to get your LightStream up and running. As per usual, and what tends to be quite a common theme here is we have run slightly over, but what I foresee in future is these videos will be between 10 and 15 minutes. I'm trying to be good here and set myself a time that I'll know I'll be able to keep within, but this one was always going to be a slightly longer one, so you can completely understand why we ended the other one when we did and didn't keep it going. Once again, I really want to thank you for coming through and taking time to watch these videos. If you like what you're seeing or you're enjoying the content, it really would help a lot if you hit the subscribe button for me, which helps me out immensely. There are also a link to my socials under a LinkTree app, which will give you everything I'm currently doing and I'm about. And I'd really love to see you on some of those. In particular, I stream really often on Mixer, so please come through, say hello, let's have a chat. I'd love to meet as many of you as I possibly can. Once again, please stay safe. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.